walking into this conversation, like what comes to my mind when it comes to like the whole split thing was there was another organization called Buggy Pine, right? That was another, yeah, that was like sort of like a sister organization to Bebop, and that organization like literally fell apart because of like internal political whatever. And so like taking example from that, how do we like try to avoid that, or how do we try to mitigate that happening or whatever?
Right. I mean, it's gonna take good leadership for sure, but finding that leadership is a good question. Because I think Ryan put in a comment here saying that our generation, we have to learn how to bridge the gap between us and our kids and really emphasize advocating for each other. So like just involving everybody and just having some foresight and into what we're trying to do for the community. I think our generation can, or yeah, can have a better view of that, or
Right.
might, so it's just but yeah, in terms of leadership, I don't know. I'm not gonna do it.
I think we have to recognize our own colonial mentality, and that's part of the legacy of that. It's divide and conquer is a method of controlling people. And so, as long as, I mean, you can see with Filipino people, like when we get together, there's like this um like a jealousy that exists. And I mean, I think people just got to be honest with it. I mean, let's be happy when people have success. I think that's a hard thing for people because they see themselves like, well, that person's no better than me. Why are they like that? Maybe because their cognitive ability is better. Maybe they were just luckier. Maybe they were better in their communication relationship styles. Maybe they're better educated. Who knows? But these are things that we have to acknowledge that, maybe we need to have a little bit more gratitude. Filipinos, we love being humble, but sometimes, you have to add that with gratitude to make it like a real, genuine kind of thing, because there's a false humility too that can happen within
hell
us
yeah.
that doesn't make it any real.
Yeah, that's a
So
funny thing.
Humble
I
bragging.
think
We're
that's
supposed to be
something
humble,
that,
but
it as we look into future topics, we could definitely address with the whole concept of inayan, which we will be bringing up in a few weeks.
Yes, Inayan,
So
our guide amongst the Igorot community.
Ryan just said there's a lot of competition within our community, and that's definitely true.
it's true.
But I
not
also
just-
agree with what Gerald was saying, where we're supposed to be going to the same goal. So why is there like so much, like, not discourse, but like issues? Like, and I personally think that most of these issues come from like misunderstanding, because as much as the young people from our group have been like working together and everything, I've seen some examples of some of the seeds of like misunderstandings that turn into issues, and it's just like, why why are you guys arguing about these little things where it really, the root of it is just complete misunderstandings? Like, I'll try to give an example where it's kind of like vague, but someone would propose something, and it's a great idea. Some other person will try to propose something. Sometimes it's a stupid idea. So within the organization, like, how do we try to accommodate one thing?
Stupid idea?
Yeah, no, there are stupid ideas sometimes, right? But
okay, you're saying it's actually a stupid idea. Okay.
No. Sometimes someone will think that the good idea will be a stupid idea, right? So in an organization, how do you try to like accommodate for these different perspectives? And an example was like someone brought up an idea where it's like, okay, let's do something in order to be active or whatever, and then someone else would be like, oh, like they'll almost take it as a slight, where it's like, oh, you want to study this instead, but what about this? And then it becomes like this butting heads where ultimately we want to learn something at the end of the day, but it's like, oh no, let's learn this more. No, let's learn this more. It's like, oh my god. But it's ridiculous. Like a lot of the things too, when it comes to misunderstanding, it's like, oh my god, money. Like these kids are arguing about money. Like I'm not saying these kids were.
Money's the worst.
Yeah,
Money's the worst.
but like that's the biggest gripe that we can point to a lot of the old people. It's like most of the falling out would be about the allocation of money or whatever. And there was an example where it's like, oh hey, let's discuss this, and then literally when someone brought up money, everyone became like very defensive, and it's just like y'all are trying to like do the same thing, but because someone's trying to like say something and someone thinks that they're talking over them, it's just literally like misunderstood. Like why, man? Why? Because like yeah, I totally agree that especially with young people, there's a lot of competition. Like someone will be an artist, and there's another person who wants to learn art, drawing, and whatnot, and then this other person will be like, "Oh, who do you think you are, trying to draw better than me?" But it's like, y'all, what are you like? Why? Why are you guys arguing about?
That actually happened?
No. That happened. That hasn't happened. But that's an example of how.
An example.
Yeah, that's how trivial abuse can be.